Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to TBO. On today's episode, it's spoilers for Obi-Wan. It's all out. We watched it all.
Yes, if I'm honest, I have only just finished it as the time of recording.
Yeah, you watched it all in one go, I imagine?
No, just the last two episodes because I was going to watch it with my dad as he came back off a holiday, but then the times didn't quite figure out, and I had to just cram it in before we recorded this.
Fair enough. Yeah. What are your overall thoughts on it? Full spoilers.
Okay, yeah. It's a tough one. It's actually a tough one. I think there are good moments, but I just found it quite boring, if I'm honest.
I can see that. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's the best thing ever. I think, again, it has good moments. It's just kind of not the story I was expecting them to tell.
Well, for me, I think the reason why I didn't really enjoy it is because in the last few episodes especially, I felt no tension. There was nothing there just grasping my attention. It's just because you know what's going to happen. You know everything that's going to happen afterwards.
Well, they can't kill Darth Vader or Obi-Wan, so there's no tension there. The only real tension is what's going to happen to Reva, but you don't really care about Reva. Because
she's dead anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Reva, she dies, right? Is that what you're on about?
She's still alive.
Wait, which one's Reva?
The
Inquisitor.
Yeah, the Inquisitor.
Oh, so I thought you meant the other one that was helping.
Yeah, no.
I don't remember all the names, unfortunately.
I don't remember her name. Like Tala? I think it was Tala?
I should get the names up because I'm not going to remember them all.
Yeah, we got Reva. No, you're going to remember Obi-Wan. Yeah, Tala Durif, and then the Inquisitor, and then the fifth brother, and then Vec Noctur. Okay, so we'll probably just go through like episode by episode, or we'll just talk about stuff that we did or didn't like. First episode. Well, okay, so this was the weird thing that through this show, weirdly through the beginning, was it was meant to be like originally on a Wednesday, and then they moved it to Friday, and they gave us 2 episodes. And it was meant to be out on like the 25th of May, which would have been like the 45th anniversary of Star Wars, and then they delayed it by 2 days. For no real reason, gave us 2 episodes, and then didn't announce anything like big Star Wars news on the 25th. So I was just like, why did you move it?
Yeah, that is a bit weird. I don't really understand it.
And then it was just like, okay, here's 2 episodes. And then it was like, okay, so they're changing. I think, because this was the weird thing about it, is it would make more sense for it to be on a Friday for Star Wars, because then you have the Marvel stuff and the Star Wars stuff not cross over. Because by, what was it, episode 4? You had Miss Marvel come out, and like I was gonna watch I was gonna watch Obi-Wan before Miss Marvel anyway. But like it just seemed weird to have those 2 things cross over when you already changed the date to Friday, so you already had people watching it on Friday. I think the only reason they didn't do it on Friday is because they were scared with the boys.
Yeah. Because
I think they were scared that they would have to compete against the boys, which is weird. But yeah, that was just a weird thing that they did.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if this came out at the same time as the boys, I think no one would even care about Obi-Wan.
No, people would still care. But I think
it's
just... Yeah, I know. But I think it's just a weird choice for them to have their shows basically share the same day with crossover. Because if you've directed people to watch it on a Friday without really any explanation, except it's just now on Friday and you get 2 episodes and people go, oh yeah, it's on Friday now. And then every other episode comes out on Wednesday. It just seems weird. Because I know people who missed the episode because they thought it was coming out on Fridays. And I nearly missed it because I was like, oh yeah, it comes out on Fridays, I guess, now. And then I just happened to be on Disney Plus on Wednesday. I went, oh shit, Obi-Wan episode 3's out. Shit, I gotta watch it.
Is it bad? I don't really remember what happened in the show after just watching it.
Yeah, well... It's again, it's not a very... I think the story that they chose to do, which is essentially Princess Leia gets kidnapped as a child and then Obi-Wan has to go rescue her, is an interesting story that you could tell for a movie. I think the issue with this is it's stretched over 6 episodes and it's like 2 movies dragged out, really.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but like... It wasn't something I was like, yeah, let's watch week to week. I think it was just kind of like, oh, there's a lot of just them walking around, doing things. Oh, Obi-Wan. Look, I get Obi-Wan is sad and depressed. I get that. That's good. It can happen. You can show that. It's good to see old, sad, depressed Obi-Wan. And I like the moments where he's like, I generally don't care about you, kid. Fuck off. You get hung in a street. And I'm like, yeah, that's good. Good. And then he regrets it because he's like, I could have helped that guy, but I can't blow my cover. I gotta. And then, yeah. But I find the chase. I want to talk about that chase scene in the first episode where they're running through the forest.
Oh, that is pretty stupid. Well, how Leia just
there's so many
everything.
dumb moments where it just seems like the action isn't great for what they're trying to do. Because that moment is like meant to be tense and scary because Leia's gonna get abducted. The guy that they chose, I think, is like one of the singers from the Red Hot, like the guitarist or something from Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it's just like, why?
To be honest, I think a lot of this didn't work for me was just the whole Leia situation. The fact a 10-year-old was calling the shots and was somehow the smartest person on there.
Well, yeah, that's Leia though.
Well, no, but you would have thought that, adults know what to do, and they have to rely on a child.
People are dumb. Like they want to just stay there. So like,
I just don't entirely. I couldn't believe it, even in the scope of the show.
It's an odd choice to. I get why they focus on Leia because they want to show the origin of Leia's like personality in the rest of the movies.
You can show her being clever, but just I wouldn't say she should be clever than, or she'd be more smart than Obi-Wan.
She isn't though, is she?
She seems like she is.
Where?
No, just like the manner of the TV show's telling.
Yeah, but she's been taught by like her parents, her adoptive parents, to like have that understanding of human nature, and so she understands what people are going through. So I get there's an explanation to it. She's been raised in a society where she's going to be the princess. She's going to have to learn how to communicate. She literally puts that fucking bitch-ass cousin in his place.
Yes.
By just absolutely destroying his will to live because she's like, you are just worthless and no one loves you and you're trying to be who you want your father to want you to be. But you have no personality other than that. And I'm like, makes sense. Yeah, that's fucked.
Do you know what pisses me off?
What?
They had to show how she got her holster.
Yeah, a thing that I don't even remember in any of the movies.
Yeah, they've done a
Han Solo.
A Han Solo or a Black Widow.
Yep.
Of just how they got this useless item that you didn't care about. You didn't need to know.
It's a weird thing that they do. It's just like there's one item of clothing and that's all people wear. And then it's like Scooby-Doo. It's like if they did a Scooby-Doo movie to show how the gang chose their primary colors. Like how Fred chose to wear his blue and white polos and how Daphne decides to
because it was a gift from somebody else. Like, oh, here's a gift of a t-shirt. I'll wear it every day.
Yeah. It's like, oh, the dead person I knew for about 5 minutes died and it's a belt on her thing. And I'm like, okay. Oh, the guy who trained me and taught me a lesson from Han Solo died and betrayed me. I will always carry his holster and his gun. I'm like, okay. He gave it to me at a campfire, if I'm remembering that correctly. It's an odd thing to do. I don't know why they need to place such high regard to just random objects. People have... It's like the jacket from Han Solo. It's like, I got a jacket. I'm like, okay, cool. Who cares?
Yeah,
it's like his name.
Make sense.
It's just like, Han Solo, because you're alone. Sick. Wow, that was interesting. Great, I'm glad we had that. The mystery was so much better. It's like Boba Fett's backstory. Like, cool, we get this. Oh, it's not that interesting, because the mystery people come up with in their heads is more interesting.
I still don't understand the point of the show. I feel like it's just to show Obi-Wan on set. I feel like that's just the whole reason this exists.
Well, people have been wondering what he's been doing. And it's an interesting tale that you could tell. I just think that the story isn't interesting enough to tell it in this format.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't it just be a movie? You did a Han Solo movie, and then they failed because no one cared about any of the backstory of Han Solo, but people were begging for a Han Solo movie, and you could have condensed this down into pretty much a better version of it.
I feel like if they were going to do this, they should have focused more on new characters and side characters.
Not even that, really. I think
the reason why I think that works is because you don't know the ultimate fate of new characters.
Yeah, but they did. They just you don't care about any of them because
Well, they too, really.
yeah, they did Reva and they did fuck, what's her name? Talia. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
maybe, I don't know.
did you have anything that you did like? Because you're very negative at the moment.
I liked a lot. I liked a lot of the camera work. I think a lot of the shots through the city had quite good visuals on it.
Yeah, I didn't really care about the cities because I'm just like, oh.
I'm happy
Cool,
we
then.
weren't stuck on Tatooine for 6 episodes.
Yep, I'm glad that wasn't a thing. But we got to see Alderaan before it gets blown up, and it just looks like a boring place to live.
Yeah, I think that's the point. That's why Leia keeps wants to run away.
Running to forests, and then so much and so frequently that a group of people know how to kidnap her.
I like some of the Easter eggs. I liked Ewan McGregor doing his hello there again.
See, I found that so pointless. I thought the first
I know
line.
it's so cheesy and stupid. But I still like it.
I know, but I thought that the first line that he should say is someone coming up to him, and he should have said hello there, and that should have been the start of all his dialogue. But having it at the end is just like, ah, yes, here's fan service. We know you've wanted it. And especially to say it to Luke, which kind of just goes, oh, okay. Which I get. Look, people are very angry that it changes Star Wars canon, and why would Obi-Wan know Leia, and why would Leia didn't know Obi-Wan in the thing. She did.
Yeah, she does. That's literally the first thing.
Yeah.
Help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only help.
Hope. Not hope. I think it's yeah, it's hope.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. But it's also that you worked with my father and in the Clone Wars and all of that. And it's not like she can't know who he is or have met him. Like, you don't have to go in the movie go, yes, you saved my life one time where I was kidnapped by this character, Reva, who didn't exist at the time. And blah, 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 blah. And also, never, like, Luke knows who Obi-Wan is because he goes, oh, maybe it's Old Man Kenobi. Like, that guy that I am aware of. It's not like they could have not. And also, what 8-year-old remembers everyone they've met? Like, I know he lives in a farm and it's not very, but he still goes to town and stuff, I imagine. Like, he wants to go to he wants to go to the Toshi station to get power converters or whatever the fuck it is. So he's obviously meeting other people. Like, do you remember people you met from when you were 8?
No.
Exactly.
No.
It's like, or 10. I think it's 10. I think it's 10 because it's 8 years or 10 years later.
I also liked seeing Qui-Gon Jinn back again.
Yep. Everyone was like, are they going to do the Force Ghost Qui-Gon Jinn? Obviously. It's like, why would they not?
Well, if they didn't, I would have been disappointed because that felt like the whole kind of reason to do this.
Well, he's talking to him all the time. He's like, in the first episode, he's like, Master, please, I need your help. And then Qui-Gon just turns up at the end going, you so do it by yourself. Good job. Now let's tease maybe another season of this because why would we not want to? Did you like the Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan fight? The first one. Did you like the fact
not
that
really.
he ran away? No, I think the fight should have been the end one. I don't know why you needed the middle one.
Yeah, the middle one was kind of pointless. It's like, why is he not fighting and doesn't really care, then all of a sudden really cares?
Well, no, I think the reason it doesn't work is you basically have Darth Vader, this entire menacing, brutal force, come down, beat the shit out of him, throw him in fire, start burning him, and then Obi-Wan is weak, he can't fight because he hasn't got access to the Force because he's cut himself off like Luke did in both Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. And essentially, Obi-Wan just gets his ass beaten, and then you have him get saved and dragged off over a hill, and Darth Vader's just like, well, can't do anything about that, and fucks off. And it's just like, there's fire in front of you. Just do what you did before and force it away. And then just walk over there, or force the droid and bring it to you. Like, you have the Force, dude. And it's just like, no, I'll let him escape. So why? Because you don't know about Reva's plan to put a tracking chip on Leia or whatever it is, or grab Leia or whatnot. And then all of that. So I'm just like, why did that fight need to happen other than people want it? And then it's just like, oh, okay. But like, I think if you had just had the last fight where Obi-Wan has actually built up his strength again, like have Obi-Wan on the run, just constantly on the back run, but just manages to get away. You don't need the fight.
I've just looked, and it now makes sense why the lead singer of Red Hot Chili Peppers is in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Why?
Because Deborah Chow directed the music video for them.
Oh. Yeah, well, he's not a good actor.
So I reckon,
his character is so weird, and it's such a weird like situation to be in. And then there's the lizard lady or whatever it is that just has to chase them, and it's just like blah, 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 blah. That chase sequence is so weird. And so like I don't have a problem with there needing to be a chase sequence to get her, or you just have them grab her. She's a child. You just don't need the run.
It just feels like a lot of filler.
Yeah.
I think that's my problem with the show. A lot of it just feels like filler. The whole thing feels like a filler.
Yeah, I do think it should have just been a movie. But I think the problem with Disney Plus is that they have to make everything a show so that people. I think the issue is more that it's dragged out for too long because it's week to week. I think would be more interesting if it was like Arcane's original release, where it was 3 episodes, 3 episodes, 3 episodes. Because I think binge watching like a 6-season show or 12 seasons or 12 episode or however many episodes most shows are now is a lot to do, especially if they're like hour-long episodes or whatever Stranger Things is, like 2-hour episodes or whatever the fuck it is.
Honestly, I've not even started watching Stranger Things yet, season 4. It's so long, those episodes.
I have to watch all of seasons 1, 2, 3, and then watch 4, and then season 4 part 2 or whatever it is.
Part 2, I'm pretty sure it's just 2 episodes anyway.
Yeah, but it's like 2.5 hour long episodes. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm never gonna watch that. But I think if you're gonna do it, and because the reason why Netflix shows don't stay in the public consciousness that long is because everyone just watches it all in one go, and then it maybe lasts like a month where people are interested. But Disney and like Amazon release week to week, so they release and everyone watches it week to week, so it lasts the runtime of the show. But the problem with that is if the show's not that interesting because it's like filler episodes, because they've just basically made it kind of like a story, but they've gone, oh, well, we need to add some stuff to make it long and actually justify these, like this 6-episode arc. We'll just fill some stuff, we'll put some new characters in, we'll just put some references in and all of that, little Easter eggs that people will hide and find, and then we'll just release it week to week, and it will drag it out for 5 weeks? Because you got 2 episodes, so you get 5 weeks. You get 5 weeks in the public consciousness.
Yeah.
And then, boom. Or The Boys gets 8 weeks in the public consciousness, depending on the amount of episodes. But I think if the show's not good, The Boys is great, and it's like, yeah, that can maintain its steam. Whereas this was just like towards the end, I was like, okay, it's getting interesting. It's getting interesting. Okay, it's gonna get interesting. It's getting there. And then finally the last 2 episodes are actually kind of interesting.
But at that point, you're kind of just sort of a bit deflated.
The momentum is dragged, not like it's just kind of kicking your feet, going, "Yeah, I got to finish this," basically. Whereas I think
there's not enough each episode.
No, and the fact that Disney has like 10 minutes of credits, so the episode lengths aren't even what they say. It's just like, oh my god, okay. So a 52-minute episode is actually only 42 or something like that, and it's just like, okay, cool. But these feel long. They feel dragged out, and
honestly, it's a miracle that Mandalorian turned out so good.
So even then, it dragged a lot of the episodes because you're just kind of like, okay, come on. It's just, but it's because they're not trying to tell it was basically the Mandalorian was just he goes and does a bounty. He goes and does a bounty. It was a different thing each week. It was like it was a Monster of the Week episode, basically. We did something different with a different set of characters, new location. And then when they went, the problem with Boba Fett was that it was just, he does this throughout the whole thing, and we'll do backstory, and we'll try and cut between.
I think this was a similar issue here. Every episode was just pretty much the same thing.
It wasn't as bad. I think it's better than Boba Fett, like by a mile. But like this is,
I mean, I thought difficult.
And I really enjoyed like Obi-Wan. Ewan McGregor is great. Hayden Christensen coming back was great because I was like, oh, why did they need him? Because he was only in it's all just Darth Vader, and it's like, okay, why would you need him? So I knew they were gonna do like flashbacks, I imagined, and I'm surprised they didn't try and de-age him because he looks exactly like he looks like now.
It looks way too old.
Yeah, it's
He
jarring.
looks older than Ewan McGregor in that clip.
Yeah, it's like he still looks young. He's only 40, I think, and he still looks decent. But like compared to what he looks like in actual Star Wars, and the fact that they have de-aging technology or deep faking, where they show like the old younger
Where they did
version.
Luke Skywalker, biggest example.
Like, I'm not saying that it's a good idea to do that. I think they've maybe hurt the backlash from a lot of their de-aging stuff, and they're like,
Well, some is
okay,
alright. I mean, think about Samuel L. Jackson and Captain Marvel. That's pretty decent.
yeah, the Marvel stuff seems to do all right. Star Wars just seems to be like iffy. I think
But when you
I don't
de-aged
know.
him, you didn't need to de-age his hair. You could have had the hair the same and just did the face.
Well, I think the issue with it is that they didn't de-age the hair, but they kept it static.
Yeah.
I think the season 2 did a better job, but like it still looks weird, and I don't like the fact that they're voice modulating it, and everyone was like, just James Earl Jones return, and they were like, no, it's a voice modulator, and it wasn't. It was actual James Earl Jones. People for some odd reason thought they AI generated his voice.
No, that sounded way too realistic to be anything.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, because people just want to push the narrative that Disney wants to use AI for everything. And I was just like, no, it's James Earl Jones. I do like the moment where the blend of their voices, like James Earl Jones and Hayden Christensen,
That
with
is
the
cool.
mask, like it's just, and that cracked mask. Like, even though people have said it's happened in the animated shows, I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I haven't watched those. I'm like, this is live action, and look, I know those shows are good, but I probably still won't watch them because
It's
I
too
don't
many
have enough.
episodes.
Yeah, and also apparently most of them are great, but some of them are good, and then you have to watch it in a specific order, and I'm just like, I don't fucking care enough to watch it like that. I'll just watch what's actually canonical, and I know that is canonical, but I'll watch it what's live action canonical.
Has this TV show restored any faith in Star Wars, made it worse?
But I didn't lose faith in Star Wars, to be honest. Boba Fett kind of just chipped in the armor, but I was just like, yeah, I've liked it. I don't think it's great. I think some of the decision making is a bit, okay, we're doing this. I have no issue with Reva. Like, she's fine. I think she's a bit, I'm not saying the performance is terrible. I'm just saying it's more like, she's a bit shouty in places, and is kind of like, okay. That's about it. That's all the issue I have, is that at some points it's a bit shouty, but then I get that's for the character. That's fine.
I'm actually very disappointed what they did with Reva. I think they could have done a lot more.
Oh yeah, no, that's...
Like they could have done a huge redemption arc on that and have her and Obi-Wan team up on like a fight or something. That's like I felt like just a huge opportunity missed.
Yeah, but I also think that they could have just had her die in the 5th episode, and it'd be like, oh, that's sad. Like, Obi-Wan left her to die. He's not that great. And I've been like, oh, that adds some layers to him. And then it's just like, nah, she has to come and try and...
No, it's Disney. Don't forget, you can no longer die from the lightsaber.
Well, people don't die from lightsabers. They have their arms chopped off and all the time, and it's just like, okay.
Well, she got
Like
stabbed in the chest and didn't die.
Yeah, but it cauterizes it. It's a lightsaber. It's heat. It can
Yeah, but you get stabbed in the heart.
She didn't get stabbed in the heart. She got stabbed in the chest.
That's pretty close to the heart. I'm sure that lightsaber would have touched the heart.
No, the stomach. It's like lower abdomen.
Okay, well, yeah. How about you try eating without a stomach?
Also, it's Star Wars, where what's-her-face gets shot in the stomach and then gets a robot part. She'll just get a robot part.
I know. My point is, no one dies anymore, and they just don't. For no reason.
People die. It's just people don't care about
Same
them.
with the Grand Inquisitor as well. Also supposed to be dead.
Yeah, but he can't die because technically, canonically, he wasn't dead at that point. So there was no way he was going to die anyway. Because he doesn't die until, I think, Ahsoka or some little Jedi or something from another show kills him. So he's technically not dead at that stage, so they need him alive for the technically, canonically, he's still alive. Like, what's his face? Darth Maul is still alive, technically, until Obi-Wan kills him again in an episode of, like, Rebels or something. Because they just have all this backstory for characters who died and then come back, and then everyone's just... Because it was like at the end of Han Solo, it was like, oh, Darth Maul's there, okay. Isn't he dead? Oh, no, it's because all this backstory where he's alive and he's got robot legs, and then he comes back and he's going to kill... And then he's dead again. So I'm just like, okay, why do I care? Why do I care about this? Why do I care about this reveal?
I think this is the problem I have with Star Wars. It's just all one big story. It's not like little bits of stories combined. It's just all one big one.
Well, the issue that I have with it is it's so small compared to the global reach of the galaxy that it's in.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
Because it's all because this was the problem that I had with because everyone's like, oh, Star Wars doesn't ever do anything new or interesting, but then people complain that it's going away from the Skywalker saga. Because I was just like, the sequels should have never touched anything to do with the originals. It should have just been years down the line, and a new evil has come, and yeah, it's like the grand son of Han and Leia. That could have been it, or whatever. And then it's just like, okay, cool. That's interesting. That's an interesting division. The grandson. But then they didn't commit to Kylo Ren being evil, and they didn't commit to Rey turning evil. So it was just two good people being misaligned, and it was just like, okay, cool. And then they brought Palpatine back, and it's just like, okay.
That's still the stupidest thing. As honestly, watching their credits, like
you have other
Palpatine has come back. Why?
Yeah, but
How?
you have Darth Plagueis, his mentor. Like, if you had that and you wanted an overarching storyline that would make sense, and people have memed the shit out of "Have you heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis?" And it's just like, okay, cool. This is canonically a character that exists who is the mentor of Palpatine, who could have been the puppeteer of all of this throughout history and has cheated death. And then you could have had that. And that could have been, oh, this guy is evil. That could have been the puppeteer behind Snoke and what's not. And it would have been like, okay, cool. But they went, people don't know who that is. And just went, yeah, we'll bring Palpatine back. And now every Star Wars property is having to step around bringing Palpatine back. Because even in this show, it shows that, oh yeah, we've captured the Jedi, and we've got them in containers, and we've got them in an underground Inquisitor base. And it's just like, okay, so this is so that you can clone the Force powers, so that you can get Palpatine clones to justify how Palpatine came back in this show.
Yeah, it's all a mess. It really is a mess. I feel like they just need to restart it now. Just restart the whole thing.
Well, apparently Taika Waititi's movie has nothing to do with the Skywalkers.
I'm assuming it still has Force though, right?
Yeah, but it's a completely new original story that has nothing to do with any of these characters, and will just completely start a new trilogy of films, I think.
See, that excites me. I'm way more looking forward to that.
Well, that's because you're never going to please Star Wars fans if you touch on stuff that they've already done. But people will complain if you use stuff like Force. You can't do that with the Force. Like, yeah, you can. It's just a different time period, and it's been lost to time. There, boom, solved. Or it's a new thing, and it's been discovered that the Force changed and allowed that to happen, and it wasn't around when it was that. It's just who cares? It's a living organism apparently, and it's there to counteract the good and the bad. Like, the Force is just a balance. It's not like if the dark rises, it will adjust the good to meet it. That's all it is.
Yeah. Honestly, I really don't know what to say about this Obi-Wan show. I just find it so mediocre.
I enjoyed watching it. I just think my enjoyment wasn't in the highest regard, because I think it's directed well. I like the fact that they had one director
that is good.
Because the problem I found with the Mandalorian and stuff like that and the Boba Fett show is that it fluctuates wildly between directors' visions. And it's just like, okay, great, okay, cool, whatever. This person's directing, this person's directing, this person, and the shots are all different and people doing different things, and it doesn't feel consistent. Whereas this just felt consistent in tone and character and visual style and everything like that. It wasn't the most visually interesting thing in the world, but like at least it had one style to follow.
I still think it was shot well. As not like visually interesting well, but like it looked well made, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I still think the volume has issues that doesn't work. Because I'm pretty sure this was probably filmed in front of the volume and a lot of stuff. And it's like, I still think there's an issue with the backgrounding and people like standing out in the front and it just not blending very well.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. None of the. Did you like, was his name Fred? That weird mole man person?
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. Who I thought was voiced by Seth Rogen and then turns out was Zach Braff.
The guy who seems to be really keen on the Empire for some reason.
Well, yeah, he's on a planet where the Empire is taking over, so it's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, people are pro-Empire, Dan. Like, people aren't, like, it's like America. People are pro. Like,
some people are pro.
Other people can be allowed to be like, yeah, I'm pro-dictator. Fuck it. If it benefits me, fuck it. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, sure, great. I felt the whole Inquisitors as well were quite underwhelming.
Well, yeah, there's just 2 that are actually, like, there. Plus the Grand Inquisitor.
Mind you, saying that, there was some good moments of just fear. Maybe when Reva was trying to kill Owen, or threatened to kill Owen.
Yeah, that fight scene was good. I like the fact that Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen actually had like a, yeah, we're not going down without a fight. Do you like the fact that they had to kind of completely make Luke avoid seeing a lightsaber at all costs? So they put him in a little room and then he climbs out a window before she ignites a lightsaber so he doesn't see it. And then when he's running, he's not looking, so...
That annoys me. That does... Okay, when I said Reva and Owen, I mean the first time.
Oh,
first...
that? Yeah,
I wasn't a fan of the second time they did it.
I like
when Reva was going for...
Like, they actually had
Why is Reva attacking Luke just because he's the son of Darth Vader?
She also doesn't know that because it's just like, oh, we found out the twins. But
yeah, she doesn't know that Luke is the child.
Yeah, because all that transmission, I think, says is there's another kid. But that doesn't mean it's Darth Vader's kid.
Yeah, I know. It's so loose and just stupid.
Also, it doesn't say a name. It just says... I don't think they say a name. It just says Tatooine. So how does she know Owen?
Yeah, that's true. And at the start of this show, I praised that they didn't touch anything to do with Luke. And then they had to bring Luke into it. Why? You don't need to. It's a contained story elsewhere.
Yeah, like
Make
Luke
this one about Leia. Fine. Don't make it about Luke.
Yeah, no, you don't need to bring Luke into it. I get you want to do the parallel between Reva seeing herself in Luke because it's a child and she was terrified and...
I don't see why she needs to do that. She already is a youngling who wanted to destroy Darth Vader.
Yeah.
What is the... like?
I get the plan to get close to him. Like, being Grand Inquisitor means you're the right-hand man of Darth Vader and whatnot. And that you're actually there. That makes sense. But then her way about doing it is so bad. Because it's... Like, I know all the Inquisitors are basically trying to step on each other because they hate each other and they all just want the top dog position because then they actually can boss people around. And Reva's motivation is different to all the others, so she hates them even more than they hate her. That's an interesting conflict. But they just don't do anything with it.
Such a waste opportunity.
Because it's just like, oh yeah, Reva, you talk to this guy with a dome on your head. Sick. That's the 5th brother or whatever it is. I think the character... Yeah, the 5th brother. And he's just got a dome on his head. And it's just like, oh, he's not scary at all. He has a weird voice lisp thing. And it's just like, okay. And I'm like, cool. This isn't interesting to, like, at all. Because they're not having any sort of, like, battle or anything like that. They're just having verbal communication going, I don't like you. And that's just like, cool. Thanks for stating that. And then there's no conflict. There's no resolve. He doesn't die. They don't fight. It's just like those 2 characters should have been gunning for the position of Grand Inquisitor. And then boom, they have a battle. It's not Darth Vader versus her. She kills what's-his-face. Reva tries to come and kill Darth Vader whilst Obi-Wan's fighting him. And then they tag team. Obi-Wan forces her not to kill him because... she's better than him. That's the moment. You don't need Luke to be involved.
Yeah. And
then she walks away. They've beaten him. She has her moment of justification and then walk away. You don't need to involve Luke in any of it.
But they have to because it's Star
I have
Wars.
no issue with Luke being involved. I just think there's a better story that you could have told rather than the one that they do. There's no issue with Luke, like, being involved and getting in that fight and not knowing because he's unconscious and he doesn't see the lightsabers and all of that stuff. But it just doesn't need to be that story. It's like when people write themselves into a corner and then they're like, well, how do I get out? You just go back a bunch and don't write yourself into that corner. You make a more interesting thing that doesn't write you into a corner rather than trying to bash down that wall to justify it. You rewrite, you don't keep digging.
Yeah, I think I feel a lot of this is quite lazy.
It seemed very simple. It was just a very I didn't think I didn't think they'd have Leia and Obi-Wan interact at all. I thought it would just be Obi-Wan on a mission to try and get Leia back, and that's it, with the threat of Darth Vader coming over because the Grand Inquisitors, and then it would be Obi-Wan versus Reva, and then Obi-Wan finds out that she's that youngling from the flashback at the beginning, which was very heavy-handed, because you're like, oh, okay, well, there's only one black child.
And then also, you don't need to have Leia running from Obi-Wan when she finds out he's a Jedi.
Well, no, she doesn't find out she's a Jedi. She finds out that he's lied to her because he's now being hunted. That's not why she's running.
Yeah, but you don't need her to run again.
Well, she doesn't know what's going on. This strange man's come, said, I'm going to help you, but she's just been kidnapped and caught. I get the justification for why she runs. It's not a bad justification. Oh, he's lied to me about...
Did you want to see her running and chasing and then just not being able to be caught again from a Jedi?
Also, there's bounty hunters on them, and then she falls, and all those bounty hunters just go away. Like, he doesn't kill any of those bounty hunters. They're just all on the roof shooting at him. And then she falls. He uses the Force to save her, and then that's it. That's the conflict over, and then he goes down and finds her.
Everything is just too convenient.
Yeah. It's not a bad show. It's just there's weird moments that contradict things. I think Vader grabbing the ship and ripping it out of the air and just dragging it back is cool.
That was cool. That was very cool. And I loved him just.
I don't like the fact that they
holes.
did. I think the thing in The Last Jedi where they have two ships and they force it, grab it, pull it down, destroy it, and then there's just another ship that just flies off at the same time.
And it just stands there and watches it flying away.
Yeah, you could do the exact same thing. Like, you don't have an energy bar. This isn't a video game. You're just constantly can use the Force. And then they do the thing with The Last Jedi, which I don't have an issue with, where it's just this tiny little ship outrunning this big ship, and they're like, oh yeah, let's divert. I'm like, that makes sense, because it's like, I don't care about any of these people. None of this is interesting to me. I just want fucking Obi-Wan. That's a good thing. And the Grand Inquisitor is like, no, that's stupid. Go after the people that are going to form the rebellion. No, I only want Obi-Wan. I want to kill Obi-Wan. That's good. I like that. Like, he's not listening to logic. He's only set on vengeance, which is why he loses.
Yeah, it's also why he became Darth Vader.
Yeah, because he's petty.
Yeah.
And he wants power, and he wants to be the top, and he doesn't like losing. Like, he can beat Obi-Wan in a fight, but Obi-Wan's smarter than him and uses that against him. Like, it's shown in the flashback. Like, Anakin can beat Obi-Wan, but Obi-Wan can then use that to his advantage and beat him. Because he knows Anakin's weakness, but Anakin refuses to learn from his mistakes and adapt. Like, there's character moments that are good. I like Obi-Wan doing his little stance every time where he points his fingers and has his lightsaber. Like, it's like, okay, cool. That's a good moment. That's fine. Him saying hello there. I like it.
I also think the lightsaber battles have been the best since the new stuff, since Disney took over.
I wasn't that fussed about the lightsaber battles in this.
I'm just comparing it to basically the sequels. It's better than the sequels.
Yeah, there's a lot less flippy. I like the fact that he just dive bombs him with the, runs up, just jumps off a rock and then just slashes his face.
Also all the rocks get thrown at him as well.
Yeah, I wasn't that fussed about that. I think it's a funny thing, because it's just like, oh yeah. I like the fact that he just absolutely destroys his chest piece.
Yes.
Why does no one else do that? Just absolutely obliterate his breathing apparatus and just fuck it up. I get Darth Vader just is good, but Obi-Wan is just like, fuck it, I'm just going for the chest. That's my primary focus. Fucking just bash it in, mate. I do like the fact that Reva and Darth Vader's fight is so one-sided. Like, Darth Vader is just toying with her and absolutely destroys her.
And that Darth Vader always knew that she was the youngling who didn't kill.
Yeah, that's a good reveal. I like that. That's a good reveal. I like the Grand Inquisitor's return, even though it's just like, because he's just like, vengeance or revenge does wonders for someone's will to live. And he's just like this absolute dick to her. Should have killed her. Like, I think just kill that character in that moment, because it's just like an actually tragic story that this character is actually good, is trying to kill Darth Vader, and then gets wiped out because of how evil Darth Vader is. Then have Obi-Wan, learn of it, and go, fuck, I failed that person again. and then actually try and redeem himself in the eyes of, and then actually bring some justification. There's
That would all make more sense and would add more tension to the story.
Yeah. Like, have, like, because you have the moment where Obi-Wan and Reva have a conversation and it's revealed that she's trying to get to Darth Vader. And Obi-Wan figures it out, and then he brings Darth Vader to her. And then you could have, like, Obi-Wan... Because I thought they were going to team up and fight together. Because it's just, get them off, and then have Obi-Wan blah, 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 blah. And they fight, and then he's injured, or he gets captured, and then Obi-Wan gets tortured, or something like that. You can do things like that. Like, Reva dies, or something, and then you have Obi-Wan break out, or get broken out by the rebellion coming in to save him. Again, like, you could do those sorts of things.
I also think a lot of probably the Obi-Wan character development is probably quite...
we didn't talk about Kanala and Nanjiani.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, yeah. So Obi-Wan character development, I think it's too subtle. So the whole idea behind it is him sort of coming to terms with Anakin becoming Darth Vader or whatever.
Yeah. Where he
I
says
felt
Darth
like that
because
is
in
just
the original movies he says Darth.
Yeah, I feel like it's just too subtle to me. I don't
people
feel like
don't
there's a
understand.
big enough character difference from the start to the end.
No, he's happier though. He's not as moody.
It's like a man who's just had an hour therapy.
Yeah. He's
Like, that's the difference.
I saw some children and they're the hope of the future. That's my motivation to get out of this hole and just and then fight and then win.
Yeah,
Like, none of the people that else I saw, the people who were struggling, like Tala, I didn't see her in my flashbacks.
Yeah, so
I only
this
saw
is
the
saying
two
the children are the future. You could have just said, I have learnt, just be straight up, I have learnt there is a chance we can still defeat the Empire. Or just say something like that.
Yeah.
To make
Well,
it
not even
seem
that.
more like he's
I don't
actually...
need it told directly to my face, but like have it be more than just Luke and Leia, they are the future. Like have him see all the people, like, because it just flashes to Luke and Leia. It doesn't flash to like Tala fighting for her life, trying to protect all these people against an empire of relentless stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Also, I hate the fact that Star Wars has to do like thermal detonators every fucking time, because I'm just like, it's just like such a boring. It's just a disc. It's just a fucking disc, and they're like holding it out, and I'm like, so people can see that it's a thermal detonator, and then it just blows up, and I'm like, okay, cool, it didn't kill anyone except stormtroopers and her.
Also, did I miss something? Or did that detonator just get plucked out of thin air as a plot
It's in
device?
a belt or something, or in a pocket, or it's in the robot. I don't know. I just don't like thermal detonators, because Han Solo has to have a thermal detonator, and then I think Boba Fett has to have a thermal detonator in it, and then I'm just like, I don't give a shit about thermal detonators. The only reason anyone cares is because it's in the thing where Leia pulls one out and threatens Jabba the Hutt with one. And then everyone has to now justify it in all of their properties and go, oh, look, it's a thermal detonator. I'm like, I don't care. Who gives a shit about this thing? Like, have them, but don't hold on them like they're the most important thing in that moment. I just don't care. Like, Star Wars has this problem with just hovering over things, making people go, it's that thing that you remember. It's justification. It's like, no, it doesn't matter at all. It's like Han Solo's vest. And it's like those things. We spoke about it earlier. It's just like, who cares? Like, just have it be there. You don't need to hover on it or, like, make it a thing. Like, there doesn't need to be an origin behind stuff. They can just exist.
Well, I think Star Wars have had a problem with sequels. Or sorry, prequels.
Everything.
There's only been one prequel that's worked.
Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, maybe two prequels.
Which one are
Rogue
you
One as
talking
well.
about? Oh, yeah, Rogue One works.
But that I think Rogue One...
Even then, it's still kind of like... It has moments where it's like, oh, yeah, okay, you had to do this so that you can justify this thing.
Yeah, but there's more tension involved, right? Because you didn't know who was going to die. And you were
Yeah,
invested in the
I was
characters.
surprised when everyone died. I was like, oh, they'll probably have And then as soon as people just started flopping in dumb ways, or like, actually just like moments where like, oh, fuck, no one is going to get off this fucking planet. And then it just gets obliterated.
I think that's
and
way
I'm like,
more interesting.
yeah. Like, introduce us to a cast of characters and then have them all just die if you don't want to bring them. Like, have Obi-Wan interact with people like, have that Jedi who turns up. I don't give a shit who he is. Just that random guy who's at the bar and everyone thinks, oh, it's it's Obi-Wan that they're looking for. No, it's just some random Jedi. And I like that dude's speech about like Jedi's innate nature to just help people. That was good. And then yeah, but just like Tala was just kind of like, okay, cool. She's fine. She had a badass moment where she spoke to that weedy little man at the gate, like, I am your superior. What the fuck do you know what classified means? And I'm just like, yeah, put that fucking dickhead in his place. Also, people have like an issue with Obi-Wan like walking Leia out of the base under his jacket, and I'm just like, most of them are wearing hoods, and they're on lockdown, and they're all trying to get places, and no one really pays attention, and they're all just trying to do their job and just walk past, and just like, they're walking with purpose, and that's how you get out of every situation. Walk with purpose.
Yeah,
but yeah.
It
was an interest. It's not the worst thing in the world. I think I was looking forward to it more than you probably were, so my expectations weren't met, but they weren't massively disappointed.
Well, I see. I never actually got into the trailer. I never actually thought the trailer looked amazing.
I didn't think the trailer was terrible. I was just like, I really would want to see more of Obi-Wan, because he's like the best character in all of Star Wars.
And to be fair, I do.
I don't care that much about.
I enjoy Ewan McGregor, and I enjoy him playing Obi-Wan, regardless of the plot.
He's just fun
to
watch.
But just as a TV show, the plot does not work well or well enough.
It's not
to make
interesting
it a TV show.
enough to justify.
Yes, if you're gonna do it right. I would rather.
I also just don't think. I think the decision to have Leia and Obi-Wan interact from Episode 2 was a mistake. I think you could have had it more of Obi-Wan actually trying to figure out, work it, make it like an actual recovery of her. He gets to her. She doesn't know or like interact with him much. Like, she maybe has like 1 or 2 moments, and that would have been fine. Like, I get you want to do he gets to tell her about her parents and talking about Padme and how she reminds him of Padme and all of that. I thought those moments were nice, but I think you don't necessarily need them. They're nice to have, but you don't need
them. I think it does go back to what I was saying of just stop doing prequels and just move on.
Yeah,
move on from the story now.
Yeah. Also, if you don't do prequels, you don't have to have this stupid debate of whether or not you de-age someone or you replace them with a younger actor. You just make new characters.
How many more Star Wars prequels are currently in the works?
We've got Andor, which is the prequel to Rogue One. We've got Ahsoka, which is the prequel. We got...
I think Ahsoka's might actually be worth it, though, because Ahsoka is a sort of character that sort of just left.
Well, she has a lot of TV shows.
No, but I mean, like, in live action, though, she's just not really involved, so I don't mind having Ahsoka.
Yeah, we got, what do we have? We got, we don't really think... I think we're still getting that, like, Resistance film, TV show, or whatever it is, was meant to have, like, Gina Carano in it, and then she got cancelled because she was very, outspoken. Also, controversy around Imogen. I think her name is Moses Ingram. Fuck anyone who thought that just because she's black, she doesn't deserve to be in the thing. Like, just
what,
fuck
who said that?
A lot of people were just like very angry that a black woman was in Star Wars.
Why?
Because people are fucking idiots. It's like when they got mad at Rose, the actress who plays Rose in The Last Jedi, because she's Asian. Like, people are just like, no, we want it just to be white men, and women are just meant to be background characters, and they shouldn't have prominent roles.
Honestly, it's so stupid.
Yeah, like, fuck you, just get over it. Just stop being dicks.
Honestly, it means nothing. It's fine.
It's just a character. If the character's interesting,
it's fiction.
It's fine. Also, it's Star Wars, where a universe of aliens and other races exist, and you're fine with them.
It has to be all white men, Otherwise, it's not very good, then, is it?
Well, not even that. It's just like you don't care that there's aliens in there, but you're like more annoyed that there's a black woman or an Asian woman.
That's so stupid. It is really stupid. Honestly, yeah. Just let people, let there be roles.
Yeah.
Since when has Star Wars had anything to do with racism?
It's more about acceptance and love and all of that shit.
Yeah, it's like, oh, whatever. Anyway, I'm sure that is a vocal minority.
What would you give it
most people.
out of 10?
5.
I'd say a 7, probably.
Fair enough.
I think it's good. I think it's not great. I think it was worth watching. I enjoyed the ride. I didn't think It's kind of like just a mediocre roller coaster. You're like, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't one of the best ones.
It's a child's roller coaster. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's fun. If
I was like little bumps and little drops, but it's pretty average and pretty boring.
yeah, you get one moment where it's good.
You get one good drop, and that's it.
Yeah, you get one good drop, and then you're like, I won't be going on that ride again for a while.
Yeah.
I'll go back again, maybe one day. Maybe when I do all the other roller coasters in this park.
Well, I mean, I've got many other roller coasters, including Umbrella Academy, Man vs. Bee, Peacemaker, Ms. Marvel, and The Boys.
Yeah,
it's a lot of
TV
TV shows.
Man vs. Bee.
Oh, Man vs. Bee is a great one.
Have you actually watched any?
Huh?
Have you actually watched any?
I watched the first episode.
Is it any good? Because I'm tempted to watch it.
I mean, you might as well. It's a TV show of 10-minute episodes. 10-minute episodes.
10 minutes? Oh, I didn't realize there were 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's like 9 10-minute episodes. It's like
So it's an hour and a half thing. So I think it's 9.
it's basically a film.
Huh. Why not just make it a film then, Netflix?
I don't understand why. Maybe it's just the Netflix model. Maybe TV shows do better.
Probably because people can stop and watch them because people have the attention spans of like a frog or like a.
That's true. You just watch a couple episodes and then we carry on next time, maybe.
Yeah. Fuck. Okay. Well, whatever. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this. Star Wars is alright. It's never been my favorite franchise, but hey, look, I enjoy what's there. I think Star Wars is mostly all the same. I don't think I've ever there's been highlights to Star Wars, but sadly,
the highlight was the first 3 films ever came out.
I never liked them.
No, I mean when they came out.
Yeah,
it worked because when they came out, it was good.
Yeah,
They
I
haven't
find
aged
them.
well.
I think they've aged fine. I just don't care that. I'm like not. I understand what they did for cinema, and that's about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm not that fussed. I like the prequels more because I grew up with the prequels. It's a biasy. I know that, and I'm sure the sequels will be the next generation of prequels. Where
I don't think they will. These sequels are pretty bad.
Yeah, but there will be kids that grow up with them and like them. The prequels are bad.
No, but the prequels had good action.
Yeah. These are the sequels.
What have the sequels got? They've got bad plot and they got bad action.
They have one really good moment where a ship goes through another ship and people got mad at it because that means why didn't they just do that on the Death Star and people are mad. And I'm like, it still wouldn't have destroyed the Death Star.
Yeah.
Because the Death Star has probably better shielding and it was also at the time, it's the biggest ship the Rebellion ever had, whereas the Rebellion in that one didn't have a big ship, so it probably would have only done a small little dent in it. Also, it's very difficult to probably do. Also, it's a suicide mission, and they had to get everyone off the ship. So, and it wasn't planned. It was only because the people were being shot at that moment, and she was like, well, how do I stop them? I don't have any guns. I'll blast into it.
Right, that's it. Let's move on because we're clearly not talking about Obi-Wan anymore.
Yes, but Star Wars is controversial. And on that note, we'll say goodbye. And we'll say, we should have started the episode with hello there.
You can add it in.
Okay, edit point. Hello there. Dan, you do your hello there.
Hello there.
Wonderful.
Excellent. We're
Goodbye,
done.
everyone. These are going to be in the
Bye-bye.
end and the beginning.